Hello everybody, it is Ebontis. It is April 29th and the chess pieces now have a chess board. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to solve all of the chess boards, and I'll kind of explain what that means when we get there. And then the actual goal is for as many people as possible, especially if you found all the 60 pieces already, to solve your chess board and then actually help submit it to the community. So first part of this is going to go through all the board solutions, and then at the end I'll give you a couple links and places I've seen and people to watch like Scarrow who are helping put the pieces together, because this is a big community puzzle where we're going to need to put probably thousands of puzzle pieces together and they all match up, and you'll kind of see how that works. First thing is, got to find your chess pieces. So I recommend look at my video last week, find the 60 chess pieces that are out there. It's doing some nether, quarter blades, different locations. You'll find them all. It's not too bad. Does take a little time to get through a little bit of RNG, but you can get there. Then we have chess puzzles to solve. There are 27 of them. I solved most of them, had to leave, so we're going to go back and do them all in order for the video. So you need to be in Eris's apartment. You need to go through, and then what you need to do is just drop down one floor. And the chessboard you can see is right here. And you're going to pick up the king, and we're going to get transported inside. Alright, so roughly the basic way that this works is you need to put a piece on the board, or you need to change the pieces that are on the board to allow the opponent's kings to all basically be in checkmate. It doesn't always feel exactly perfect, but I'll kind of discuss as we go. So each one of these are going to be a piece. You've got a knight, a rook, a pawn, a queen, and a bishop, and then when you stand on them, you'll see how many you have. There are 2 queens, there are 8 bishops, and this is why you need to find all 60 pieces, because you're going to need just about all of them. The other thing you have over here, and you saw a couple of these when you picked them up, you have the take actions. These are the ones that are conversion. Means you actually will change a piece from, say, black to white, so you can change what's doing what. You also have the option to delete pieces on the board. So this is going to be your actual delete, and that would just literally take that piece and delete it. And all you're going to do is stand on whatever you want to happen, like this, and you want to shoot the spot on the board where you want that piece to go. So at this point, all you need to do, being as this is a queen and this is a king, if the king wants to and has to take this, because otherwise it will be over, you basically need to have something to where it will block it. And pawns are one of the cheapest things you can move, for example. So what we'll do is if you put a pawn here, then when the king goes to take the queen, the pawn will take it, and that is going to be checkmate, basically. So this is the first one. And we're going to go through each one of them in order from here, and then you'll have timestamps as you go through. So if you put a piece on the board in the wrong place on accident, say I put a pawn here, but I didn't mean to, then all you got to do, by the way, is come up here behind your starting side. You can undo the previous action. And if for some reason you feel like things are completely out of control and you need to fully start over, this little book back here will go all the way back to number 1, just so you know. For board number 1, we've got 1 pawn, and it's going to go to E6, or you can do C6 as well. Either one's going to be there, and that's going to cover the king that would have to take the queen, and then your pawn will take it over. And you'll see absolute pin. That means you've got it, and then you move on to the next board. All right, so for board number 2, you've actually got a bishop across the way that has all the black spots covered right here. So what you need to do is you need to basically force the king to move, and then you need to block it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a rook, and we're going to put it way up here in the corner, which is going to be H8, which is going to give it basically nowhere else to go. So number 2, stand on your rook, aim all the way in the back corner, and that is number 2, a rook in H8. All right, for number 3, you've got a rook in check with the king. What we're going to have to do is block the queen from actually moving in. We're going to take 1 pawn, and you're going to go E all the way up to 5, and that's going to block the queen, and that will keep the king in checkmate, and you should be good. So as you can see, some of the boards get a little full, and for number 4, you've actually got a lot going on that's pretty close together. But what we're going to do here is we don't have a lot of places where the king is really going to have a lot of options to go anyway, but we need to basically limit all the options. So the hardest one to cover is this one back here. We're going to put a knight that'll take care of that. And then basically every other spot is going to be covered if we will put 2 pawns, one at E4, one at F4. And then we're going to take 1 knight and we're going to put it right in front of the king here at D4 to make sure we cover this back retreat spot. And that is number 4. All right, so for number 5, we've got a bishop sitting right next to the king. Now, this one's kind of interesting because basically you'll say if we put a knight here, it will cover the space that it's on that's going to force it to move. Means it can go here and here, but the bishop would take those out. It could go here, but the knight would already be set up to take that one out. So we're going to do a knight here and a pawn here to basically cover if it tried to take the bishop or the other spot. So the pawn, you're going to put directly in front of the king, right there on E6. And then you're going to put a knight back and one to the left of that pawn at D5. Now for number 6, this is where the rules get a little interesting because you have their king in check. But it also shows that our king is in check. And this is where I don't always know who is going first. But on this one, all you have to do is basically take out the queen. And therefore, that queen is covered because anywhere it moves, it's going to be covered by the queen. If it tries to take out the queen, the pawn has it. So you're going to just take 1 pawn. We're going to stand on the pawn spot. And then we're going to put it right here on D1 to take out their queen. And that's all you need. But this is number 6. Alright, so again, it's not like normal chess. We're on number 7 now. Board looks like this. And what you're going to do is first you need to protect your king. So the knight is got you in check. So we're going to go ahead and put a pawn here. That will take out that knight in theory. Then here, what we need to do is force the king to move and also trap it. So the first thing is we're going to go and force the king to move. We're going to put a knight all the way back at G, which is the second to last row, and then 7, which is the second to last space. That means it can go up 2 and over 1, and that can attack the king. Then we're going to go from here. We're going to cover the left and right movements with a pawn. And then if it goes forward and back, we're going to take a bishop, and we're going to put it right here. So if it tries to take out the pawn, you're good. And if it tries to go back here, you're good. So for puzzle number 8, we're going to first be on the knight. And we're going to take that on C6. If you go row C, back to 6. You can probably do it with E as well. That will basically attack and force the king to move. And then you also need to basically pinch the king, but also protect yourself at the same time. Which means here we're going to put this guy, the rook that we're standing on. We're going to put that right here on D2 to block this bishop and take our king out of check. So now for puzzle number 9, this is where we get the weird non-chess moves. We get the delete and the take are the other ones. So we have a bishop all the way over there that could actually force the king and leave it nowhere to move. It just has one thing in its way, and it is their knight. So we could do the wonderful non-chess ability and say delete the knight, and that's going to allow the bishop to come all the way here and basically trap the king in checkmate. So we're going to delete the knight that is at F6. And that's number 9. Alright, so this one's going to be a little bigger, but similar to the one we did a couple steps ago. So number 10, what we've got is a pawn here in the front. And that's going to cover the movement to the left or to the right of the king. Then we're going to put a knight at D7. And that back here, so row D, all the way back to, I don't know, D7, row or column, your choice. That's going to actually be able to attack the king. Force it to move. And then just as before, we're going to use a bishop to kind of cover the up and down angles as we did last time. And we're going to put that over here in F5. And there you go, they're pinned. So this gets to be a pretty cool one. We've got 2 kings now, and you basically need to force them to attack you. So with your pawn, if you put one in the middle, one of the kings has to come up, so then you have to kind of defend that spot. Which means that king came up, so now we're going to attack that king, which forces the other king to now come up and attack you, because otherwise you're going to attack them, and then we're going to cover the third one right here. That's why it's not quite chess, it's a little weird, but it's how some of these got solved. And again, I'm getting a lot of this from Raid Secrets, shout out to them. I went through and solved most of them on my own, even if my solutions were a little bit different. The biggest key is trying to solve them for one, which you can do and go through by yourself, but the other side is trying to have enough pieces left over to solve all the puzzles. So it's a little weird, but this is what's getting it done. So this is going to be our first take. You'll notice we've got rooks out here blocking the outside movement, so this king can only really move just to the middle. And then this king can only move to the middle because the rook's got the outside lane as well. So what we really need to do is just take the bishop, so then these interior movements are blocked and you're good there as well. And that's what we're going to do. So you're going to take, or convert, whatever you want to call it, over here on the side, just the bishop in the middle that is at, what is it, E4? Yep. So one move and you're good. So number 12 is pretty cool when you look at it. There's a whole lot of white on the board and 3 kings. Basically what you need to do is try and get them all to move. And you'll notice they're all actually on black spaces. So with one bishop, you can get them all to theoretically have to move. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a bishop on E5 in between all 3 of them, and that's all you need. So for number 14, you've got 2 kings in the back, and as you see, you've got one place for them to move. So you want to basically pinch where they're going to move with a couple pawns. One here, this is going to be F7, and then also another one over here on B7. So those can attack, so you're going to force their move. And then we're going to come over here with a knight, and one knight kind of in the middle. This is going to be right here on D6. This is going to basically defend both of the pawns. Alright, so for number 15, what we've got is 4 bishops that are covering a whole bunch of the board. We just need to cover the few spaces they may not get, and then make the kings move, because they're already checked and they have to move, but we just need to cut off where they can go. So you're going to take 2 knights, and you're going to take D and E both back here in 7. And what that's going to do is that's going to basically take out any other places that they can move. So here, and here. Alright, so for number 16, you've got 2 kings that are kind of in the mix of a whole bunch of stuff. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this pawn and delete it. And we're going to put a knight there instead. So the knight will be able to both attack each of them, but also force them to move. If they come up, the knight will again be able to attack them. If they come up, the knight can come up and over and attack. And if they move back 1 space, then this pawn in the middle will get them. If they try and take the one in the middle, this pawn will get them, and then if they try and take these pawns up here, these pawns are waiting for them. So come over here to delete. We're going to come over here to F2. We're going to delete that, and then we're going to put 1 knight on F2, and this will be number 16. All right, for number 17, you're going to notice the outside edges of the board are covered because you've got 2 rooks covering all the edges. So then you've got the middle, but you also need to make them move. So what we're going to do is we're going to be on the take side, and if you take both bishops and turn them, they're basically going to cover each other. So if, you know, if they attack that king, then they know they have to attack that one, but there's a bishop waiting for him. So there's always a bishop waiting either direction. So you're going to take the bishop that is on C3, and then you're going to take the bishop that is on F6. So for 18, what we're going to do is we're going to use a knight on each side to basically force the king to move and also take one option out of the way. And then we're going to use 1 bishop to close off the other option. So we'll start with a bishop. You're going to put this on C5. So 3rd column, back up here to the 5th row. That takes out this diagonal of black spots right along here. So the king here can't go back here, and this king cannot go here. And then we're going to take a knight on each of the like kind of boxes that we've got there and close off everything else. So the first knight we're going to put on D3. So D3 right here can, one, attack the knight, but it also takes this spot out of contention. So this one. And then on the other side, we're going to put the knight on F5. So we're going to go to D, E, and F. And then we're going to put it on 5. That way we can go up 1 and over, up 2 and over 1 for the attack. And then up 1 and over 2 for his option to move. And that should be it. So 2 knights and 1 bishop for 18. So for number 19, you've got a lot of defense out there. Rooks covering almost every angle. You just need to kind of free a couple of things up. So we're going to come over here to delete. And we're going to delete E2. You're going to go to the 5th row over here and you're going to delete this bishop. And you're also going to go to D, so back 1 row and all the way 7 to the back, this bishop. That frees up all the defense you need. Everything's covered. All right, for number 20, you're going to need 1 bishop, and it basically is going to be attacking both sides, so it's right back here in the middle. Everything else is basically covered, so 1 bishop, go to column E, all the way to the back, so E8. And that's number 20. For number 21, this is supposedly the solution. I, for the life of me, can't quite figure out why. But we're going to put a bishop here at E2. Now, part of it I can figure out is that you've got the king both checked by a rook. So on this side, for example, he can't move in. And if he has to move, your option would be to potentially move the bishop there to block, which is why I feel that would work. Same thing here. So I'm not entirely sure what this bishop is doing, but maybe it's a lot more moves down the chain. But again, 1 bishop on E2 for puzzle number 21 supposedly works. And it does, but that's some long chain of events that I'm not going to figure out. So for number 22, I'm actually standing on the board at E5, and what you're going to notice is from here, I can attack every king. So I can go 2 and 1. From here, I can go 2 and 1. From here, I can go 1 and 2. And then from here, I can also go 1 and 2. And then the assumption is everything else is covered. So all you need is 1 knight at E5. So 5th column over, 5 up, 1 knight E5. This should be puzzle 22. Kind of a similar situation to the last one. You just need to put a knight to where it can get to all of the kings and force them to move, and that pretty much ends it. So we're going to do a knight over here on E3. All right, for number 24, and as these get a little bit more complex, I'm just going to give you the information of what to do. So for pawn, you're going to put one on B6 and B7. If you want to figure them out, feel free to take the time to do so. So B6 will be here. B7 right behind it. Then we're going to go over here and put 2 knights. One of them is going to be on C4. The other one's going to be on H3, so all the way over to the edge in 3. And then you're going to delete, which is over here, D5. So D as in David, 5. So A, B, C, D, and 5. Good to go. All right, so for puzzle number 25, for one, it looks absolutely wild. We're going to delete D4 and H4. So both here on 4, you're going to delete D4. And you're also going to delete H4. Then we're going to put one of our queens on D7. Notice we haven't used a queen yet. So D7 all the way back here. And then we're going to take F5. So we're going to take A, B, C, D, E, F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, there's 5. That will allow you to apparently cover all the kings. Again, the explanation to figure some of these out would be way longer than they're probably worth. All right, for number 26, we've got quite a collection of knights out there on the board. We're going to do a bishop at D5. So D5, basically damn near in the middle of that collection. Then we're going to do a queen at E7, pretty close to the back. So we're on queen, E, almost to the back here. Then we're going to take one knight and put it on B4. And last but not least, we are on puzzle 27. And we're going to do all takes. So you've got your kings on the outside, which that's probably precarious as it is. But we're going to take the following. We're going to take C4. So if you take C, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. We're going to take E3. So A, B, C, D, E. 1, 2, 3. We're going to take that knight. Then we're going to take D6. So D, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to take F5. So we're going to go F and 5. And that is a wrap. So that is all 27 puzzle challenges. The game begins once more. You'll see there's flames, and there's one more step for what we need to do. All right, so now we are at the community puzzle. Now, if you just want to, like, shoot the chessboard for fun, you totally can. But instead of the take action over here, you've got the water reveals. And pretty much what you need to do is just reveal the water and stay next to it. So if you stay next to it, as you see a signal frequency show up, make sure you remember that. You're going to get this chessboard. Try and take a picture of that. And then remember your frequency that shows up over there as well. And if you need to repeat it, it's totally fine. If you reveal the water, again, it will pop up right here. So again, I've got this chessboard. They've got all the pieces marked. And then also remember your signal frequency. They're doing that so I think there's not duplicates, but that's the idea. So the whole community's got some like image processor. There's a form you can do. I'll try and put that in the description or the comment or both and see where everybody's accumulating these images. Take that image, send it over to the people who are working on it, and then the smart people. It's basically a jigsaw puzzle where the sides of the image that you saw are basically that would have to match up to another puzzle, and that's all going to fit together to build some image, whether it's a QR code or whether potentially it's like it shows you where you need to fill in the board somehow. And then at some point, whenever we figure out what the community puzzle is and then what the actual board is probably supposed to look like, then it looks like we'll probably be coming up here. And now instead of going backwards, we're going to be able to offer our answer. And then if your answer is correct, then something cool is probably going to happen, but we don't know what that is yet. So for now, community puzzle time, and hopefully you found this helpful. And other than that, thank you guys very much, and we'll see what this comes next. Next week, we have the Edge of Fate. I will be traveling on the 6th, but I'm trying to take equipment with me so I can at least figure out what's going on with the dungeon stuff and Rite of the Nine and everything that's covered. If there is a dungeon that's going to be part of that first rotation and we figure out what it is beforehand, I'll also try and put out a guide for that as well. Thank you all very much. Have a good one. If you enjoyed this one, drop a like, subscribe, follow me for so many different games that I'm covering now. Destiny will still be one of them for all the fun stuff that we do, but I cover a lot of games, so if you just enjoy gaming, guides, tips, news, and everything else, hit that subscribe button. Find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Blue Sky. Subscribe, you know, be a member. Find me on Patreon. Any and all the support's welcomed, and thank you. Have a good one.